she was Chopper, and we found out she stepped on a little pin of. It was like a Mickey, but it's like, you know the face you see when someone gets punched in the stomach. It's like his face was like that, and the eyes were cut out, and like the mouth was cut out, and it was just like you could see through that. And then she was like, "What? How did I get this button?" It's like I was like, "We can't keep this. I have a bad feeling about this button. We can't keep it." She's like, "But it's lonely." I went and I threw it, and I'm like, "We're not having that."
Good story. I've read enough Creepypasta to know how that one. Friend!
Alright, so this one is supposed to have a picture behind it. So I'm going to explain this picture as good as I can. So it's from a Spanish textbook that I found at my school one day. And it was a picture of a black man named Tim.
But it's racist.
So we found this book, and because it was an old book, it was about 10 years old, it had been in circulation for several semesters. In case you didn't know, one of schoolboys' favorite pastimes is to draw faces and mustaches and goofy eyebrows and stuff onto the faces of these people that's in these textbooks. And so then, when we came across Tim, he had a gigantic, frowny unibrow, and he had two gigantic circles around his eyes, and he had this scary, creepy-looking mustache, and his teeth were blotted out. It was a very creepy face. So, my friend and I, we found this in his textbook, and we were laughing at it. We thought it was really funny. And so we took a picture of it, and we're like, that's funny. We call him Tim, not JPG from now on. You can see where this is going. So, I was at home. It was at 4th hour, so it was only 2 more hours until I went home. I went home, and I was about to log into my computer. And I saw my profile picture on my user was changed to Tim. I didn't know what was going on. I called up my friend. Who I saw in 4th hour, and I'm like, "Did you?" Yes, my friends are mean. I'm like, "Did you change my profile picture? Have you been home before I did? Were you home before I was?" He's like, "No." Skeptical, but still afraid. I logged into my computer. I looked at my desktop background. It was Tim. I called my friend again. I'm like, "Did you change my background?" There was no answer. I looked at my phone. There was no phone. There was only Tim. I threw my phone to the ground, startled, frightened. There was no ground. There was only Tim. I ran out of my house. There was no door. There was only Tim. I ran outside. I looked at the sky. There was no sun. There was only Tim. There was light. There was dark. There was only Tim. And then, nothing.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I live in my parents'
We're probably
basement.
getting kicked out soon.
It's like really quick.
Yeah. Okay, tell it.
Alright, I live in my parents' basement. I know I'm a loser. I follow up some hard times. And I was sitting on my couch and I was falling asleep. You know that in between between sleep and being awake. And upstairs, I heard my brother messing around. And it sounded like he was dancing, but I thought nothing of it. But it sounded like he kept dancing faster and faster.
You're telling my favorite story, by the way. You're telling my favorite story.
And all of a sudden, I hear the basement door open. And I don't move. I hear something falling down the basement stairs, clattering, and dancing. And I stay still and I hold my breath for a couple of seconds. And after a while, after I feel safe, I let out a breath. And it starts moving towards me. And I freak out. And I turn on the light. And there's this giant mass of veins. And I don't know what's going on. And I freak out. And I go into the closet. And I lock it. And I hide. And it keeps banging and dancing on the closet door. And I don't know what to say. I'm afraid. And I don't know where my little brother is. And all of a sudden, out of nervousness, I start tapping my finger. And then it stops. It stops. And I look outside. And it's not there anymore. And I thought, oh, I must have been dreaming. I must have been hallucinating. And I sat on a chair. And I started thinking more and more about the beat that thing was dancing to. And I started tapping my foot. And I decided to go down on all fours and start to dance.
I love this story.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Do we have time? Is it short?
It's 1 o'clock.
2 sentences?
2 sentences. Okay, 2 sentences more.
Repeat this to 3 other panels or historical fly into your house tonight and make a mess of your pots and pans.
Wait, what?
Anyway, I'm going to say something really quickly. I say this every time. Creepypasta is not one of the good stories. They find that not out these things because there are things that will get you and find you and they're bad at the end.